attended, and at the convention, and I'm saying this, these are facts. One of the people that came from the US ran to us that he saw him bribing delegates. And we were alarmed and we reached out to him, why are you bribing delegates? He said no, he denies it, that he was just trying to take care of them, all these delegates are people who he had invited. So we approached some of the delegates who they came from the north and discovered that the delegates were picked up from Yaba. They were just selling foreign currencies in Yaba. So this is a party that is barely 2 months old, and we already have a secretary who bring in fake delegates. So that was a concern to a lot of people. But we agreed at the convention that since we have issues with the delegates, we will use our genuine delegates till that we know that were endorsed by the party, who are verified, to do the endorsement of endorsement of the presidential candidate. That was one. Femi Falana was there as well. You were there, and by voice vote because I was the only candidate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, because you covered.
I was there on the day. Yes, I was there on the day of that. This
was in Lagos. Massively attended,
Yeah,
but you also remember that. As we were going on with the event, some guys came and protested, and they came from. Those were the guys from Yaba that he brought. So we were able to handle it, and we decided that no, we wanted to have elections for party leadership and several members and NEC members, because everybody was temporary at that point. Decided that it would be too early at this point to allow fraud to take over our party, and the delegates he brought, the delegates he presumably had asked come and vote for him as chairman of the party. So when it was time to get to the next item on the agenda, which was the election of party leaders, we couldn't find him. He disappeared. And then also at that point, the venue that we had chosen to use had elapsed at 4 p.m. So we decided to leave and ask all the leaders to meet at Ikeja. And I left. When I left, Leonard went and organized some guys to hold the deputy chairman admin, Macron, probably to ransom. Physically ransom, trying to harm him. And they claimed that he stated that we don't want to hold the elections that will elect the party. So we found out some of these guys also weren't, some of the delegates that were brought from Yaba. When we went down, he came down to a meeting, and we agreed that after the election we will hold a special convention. I have a video of it, so that we can elect leaders. And we went back to campaigning. But at that point, we stopped campaigning for the party. We never participated in party activity. In fact, we heard he was working for the PDP candidate Atiku. And
while he was
his plan had been, yes, he was secretary of the party, but he was working on the ground against the party. He was working for another candidate. So when we then needed to go and submit our credentials to INEC for all the candidates that are running, we couldn't find this guy for days. It took the help of his sister, who was based in Jos, woman of conscience, to persuade him to come out. When he did persuade him to come out, we went somewhere in Abuja, an apartment where we were staying. And we asked him, why are you hiding from us? Why are you not picking us? He said it was because we didn't make him chairman of the party. And it's expressed to him that, we can't make you chairman when you bring fake delegates to the convention. So, but because he had been persuaded by both the sister and a lawyer who is very close to him, who had helped to register the party, he grudgingly signed off on those documents, and we submitted our documents. And that was the last we heard of Leonard. He never participated in election, never campaigned with us anymore. We campaigned around the country. But on election day, the only thing he showed was he took a picture with former President Gowon and set it out, I think, on Facebook. Nothing else. So after the election, of course, because many of us came from the US, we returned back to the US. I went back to see family and then came back to Nigeria. We then started planning for another delegates convention, but because we're spread all over the world, we needed time to get people to come back. Some of the leaders were actually based in several parts of the world. So it was at that point that in Rivers State, the AAC candidates went into alliance with the APC, with Amechi and the rest of them. And Amechi's APC, because the original candidate was disallowed from participating in particular in the election. They adopted our candidate, and we immediately repudiated it because we knew that this was not healthy for us. We repudiated. We told the guy who was our candidate, we cannot, in good conscience, support you to go on because we stand against both parties. So
that is APC and PDP.
The guy almost won the election. Yes, the guy almost won the election in Rivers, and Wike, who was losing the election, then went and looked for Leonard, paid him handsomely to support him, because now after the election they had to go to court because the election were abruptly stopped. The Wike was spending money like money was going out of circulation. So we condemned him. But when they went to court, our candidates there who were condemned openly, I even granted an interview to the BBC, went to court against Wike. Wike then got Leonard to come to court in his support. But before Leonard accepted to work for Wike, he told Wike that he needed the help of judges that can help him hijack the party from us. So one day, as we were home, we just saw something saying that Leonard had held a national executive meeting where he claimed to have expelled myself, Malcolm, and all the leaders, most leaders of the party, particularly me and the deputy chairman of the party. Don't forget, at this point, none of us were elected, including him. We have been the pro-tem leaders of the party. So we started all our people and said this is a joke. Next thing, I came to Nigeria, and when I was done in Nigeria planning for another convention, I getting everybody to, I had to go to the US briefly. As I was landing in the US, I got messages from all over the world saying that there was a live, live streamed. There was TV live streaming of AAC, a meeting by some AAC people saying that they have removed me from my office and back home. Don't forget that it takes 5 million naira paid to a TV station to stream any event live. It was appearing on channels, AIT, I think NTA, simultaneously. They were all the newspapers made it streaming headlines where the news arrived to the US. So by the time we got to the US and strategized, they had gone to court with the help of Wike, because Wike is a member of the body of benchers, one of the most powerful lawyers in the country. They have access to judges, and filed that I had been removed and they want an interim injunction restraining me as the chairman of the party, including Malcolm Pabi. So we immediately, after we heard about it and the order was granted, we went to court. We filed against it, but we were still in the US, and we filed an affidavit and presented to the court that we're in the US. We presented our my passport showing how I left Nigeria and that I would return as soon as possible, but the case must go on. It was handled by Effiong Emibe, the popular young astute lawyer. The judge gave accelerated hearing. This is Judge Inyang Ekwo at the Federal High Court. And when it was day for to give judgment, he did not look at the substance, which we were able to prove that there was no such convention that removed me. There was no such meeting of, we got others to sweat on affidavit. There was nothing like that. The judge did not look at the substance of our argument. He said that because we were not in the country and did not file our affidavit, did not swear the affidavit personally, that there's no way that he could accept our pleadings. And then said that Leonard now has the authority of the court, not of the members now, to be the acting chairman of the party. There is no position called acting chairman in the constitution of the party. So Leonard and his lawyers discovered that. And then they went and looked for a fake guy to file another case at the Federal High Court, FCT Court in Abuja. One Honorable Bago. He doesn't exist. He's a fake person because the address he gave, we went to look for it in Abuja, doesn't exist. And that one, this is like Leonard suing himself now. And that one asked court. That one was hidden from us. We didn't even know that existed. In all of this, the party was not sued. The party to this lawsuit. Then that one now, another judge then gave another judgment saying that he agrees with this Bago that doesn't exist, that the next meeting that Leonard was relying on at the Federal High Court is legit. So, because they discovered the lacuna in that Federal High Court judgment they got, they used the FCT Court to show it up. The lawyer who handled Leonard's case was applying to become his son. He got his sonship as soon as they won the case for him. They made him a son. I'm just giving you guys background information that we have never spoken about before in public. It was at that point that we knew that the way we campaigned really hurt. Yes. This was the point that we heard that we knew that the people the way we campaigned really hurt the leaders of the two political parties, that they were afraid of AAC. So we, of course, started fighting immediately for this. And we have had an arrangement for revolution now at that time because of the way the election went. The Nigerian people can no longer rely on just minimalist elections. There has to be fundamental changes in the society, revolutionary changes for elections to matter or mean anything at all. So we were planning that, and as soon as that was also happening, Sahara reporters then stumbled on a big story, which was the 500 billion naira that went missing at the Central Bank of Nigeria. So, as we learned, the Central Bank Governor Emefiele, then also joined in to fund Leonard against me because he believed that I was the one who did the story. So money was rolling in from all enemies, And shortly after that, of course, in August, shortly after I returned to Nigeria, I was arrested for treason. So while I was in detention, I used the so-called court order that suspended me for 6 months, connived with INEC, and went to Owerri to hold a convention claiming that they have replaced the leadership of AAC. The members of NEC of AAC, all the chairmen of state and the secretaries who constitute 80% of NEC membership, were not in attendance. The leadership of NEC, including our legal advisor, Inibehi, was not invited. I was not invited, even though I was in detention. INEC needed Leonard at that point to endorse the shabby election they did in 2019, and they were all afraid that something will happen in Nigeria because it was clear that there was no election. So Leonard then started helping the INEC chairman to form a group of political parties, about 74 of them. And as one of them revealed to me, they said to themselves, if Sowore was around as the party leader, he would never have allowed this to happen. So INEC also had an interest to make Leonard the chairman of AAC because they needed somebody to endorse the shambolic election they had. Because INEC was under a lot of pressure. That was how he sent somebody to go to the convention. The person went to the convention, a lady, came back and wrote a report that the people that came to Owerri are not AAC members. So they are not the people on our records. They told her to shut up. Yes, INEC sent somebody to
the person
the convention to
wrote a feedback that
yes, that the people at the convention in
not even AAC members.
On their records as the leaders of AAC, that she didn't see any of the people on their record. They told her to shut up. One guy, Okoye, Festus Okoye, told the girl to go and write another report endorsing. Festus Okoye is an INEC commissioner. I'm mentioning names. An INEC commissioner used to be one of the civil leaders. Told the girl to go and write another report that suits the thing they want to make Leonard. They want to make sure that Leonard, having supported them to get through that election credibility crisis, is rewarded. Of course, at that point, also, Leonard went and changed the lawyer of the AAC candidate in Rivers State. The lawyer that worked with Wike became the AAC lawyer in Rivers State. He changed it in court, in open court. So all this was going on. I was in detention. So it wasn't until I got out of detention that we started challenging them again. We wrote to INEC that you should tell us where you got the judgment from that says that I'm no longer chairman. They couldn't present it. I went to the office physically. They couldn't present it. They kept telling me, oh, they even went and called SSS for me. The SSS guys came, discovered I was the one. They told them that this one is more than what we can handle. So that I'm going to go discuss with Sowore. So
one of the questions I have.
But that was when we took to them the letter. You know, and I hope you guys are listening. When we took the letter to them that we want to have a state primary in Edo State. So I took the letter personally with a lawyer. We were there for 20 minutes. They said, Leonard, they were working in Kahoot with Leonard. They even told us that they cannot accept letters from us except that Leonard had appointed a liaison person for AAC. Only that person can bring letter to the INEC. When it became a problem for them and they couldn't present the legal document they claimed confers chairmanship on Leonard, they accepted the letter and then wrote to Leonard, this is INEC now, telling them that they have now looked at the constitution of AAC and discovered that the letters he wrote in January to several states removing and replacing the chairman, the original chairman of AAC, is not constitutionally right. So he should please revert to the original people who formed AAC. This was INEC, the same INEC that said he went to a convention, you know, and endorsed the convention. They are now saying that the people who are not, this is a letter INEC wrote to Leonard. They were playing games among them. Now that the things are blown out of proportion, INEC wrote a letter to Leonard. I have a copy of the letter saying the person he appointed in Edo cannot run the election because he cannot single-handedly appoint a state chairman. Only the NEC can dissolve the state. So Leonard wrote back to INEC. He said, yes, I'm so sorry. I have now reversed myself. So I've asked the guy I appointed to go and hand over to Sowore's people. That's how he presented it to INEC. And those ones went, took a picture, lied to those guys. They did the same in Ondo, in Lagos, in Kwara. That, you know, this is INEC now, official on the official record, saying to Leonard, after almost a year and a half, that they have realized that the appointment he made into the states were illegal. That it's not in consonance with AAC's constitution. Because we backed them against the wall after I got out of detention. So we, of course, did the election in INEC came to the election because they recognized us. They recognized that what they were doing was illegal. Observed the election. Leonard even sent people to the election. There were about maybe 5 people. When they discovered that there was overwhelming presence of people at the convention, they went to a tipper garage, collected a pure water bucket, and did their own election there. Put the video on ITV and they won TV station in Benin. But channels which we didn't invite covered that of AAC, I mean the original AAC, inside the Buminda Stadium. So, of course, when Leonard presented his candidates to INEC, that this is the guy who they used pure water bucket to elect, INEC could not accept it. Our own REC, that is the Electoral Commission, went to the appropriate convention. And when they got there, they had never, that the convention AAC did in Benin was the best. How can we now accept your candidate? So, but because they had sworn, into collusion with him, I mean, they had sworn to some deal with him, they now contacted me that I should let Leonard present our candidates to them as the chairman of AAC. And my question to them is that I'm still waiting for your legal document. The court order that says chairman, Leonard is AAC chairman. As I'm speaking with you, they still can't present it. I just gave you this background information because a lot of people keep
because of the question in public circulation, and I'm also concerned, No,
it's in public. See, what happened is that I've told you the interest.
I don't know for you.
We'll be telling this. Yes, we'll be telling these stories, but look, let me give you an example. Where did you think Leonard got his convention, the so-called removal of Sowore? It was streamed live on channels. Ask yourself, channels, AIT, NTA, throughout my campaign, that they only featured me 7 times. They never came to any events that I attended and covered live, except if it was another event I was participating in. In fact, I participated in an anti-corruption event in Abuja. When it was my time, channels started chopping off my statement because of the things I was saying at that event live. This happened. Yes, when I was supposed to be part of the debates, the person who opposed my participation in the presidential debate was the chairman of channels, John Momo. So they were all happy when they saw this guy. It's like it's an opportunity for them to come together against this enemy of theirs, which is Sowore. But the same channel went back to Benin to cover the primaries because somebody was paying. Wike was the one paying for the live streaming of Leonard when he claimed that I had been suspended. I don't know if Wike is still paying him. Wike is, Wike has issues. Maybe he has moved on to other things and giving them money and said, look, leave me alone. I've now won. I don't need you anymore. Apparently, they can't afford to live stream anymore the way they used to.
They could also sustain what Wike gave
them. In the media. Yes. I've worked in the media for quite a. I know what these guys do. And I know that when Leonard was doing all that, they were paying them to do it. In fact, there was no space left in the media in the country where everybody was making a big deal out of Sowore had been suspended. They even made a video with him where he claimed that, I embezzled parties' money. Whereas we were the only candidates who presented a breakdown of the spending. Yeah. Nobody had done it. But none of the newspapers carried that story that Sowore presented to the public, how a breakdown of how he spent all the money he raised from the public. No any other candidate did it, made it public. They might have done it internally, but we made it public. It's still available today on Facebook, it's available on our party page, it's available on my presidential Sowore 2019 page. It's available. It was even made into a video on YouTube. Ask Buhari in 2015, did he ever present how he raised money and spent it? Never. No other party. But you can't find it in the media. So it was a very well organized gang up. And when they realized that these things could not work, they started to fizzle out one after the other. Again, I'm taking time to explain to you, I've taken time to explain to you what went down. And but this is what happens all the time when you have revolutionary minded people coming near power because they were afraid that the way we campaigned with little money, no private jets, the impact we had, it was scary to them. And they felt like they had to take us down. Not only did they try to steal the party, it was when they were not satisfied with stealing the party that they now clamped me into jail for, according to them, trying to overthrow the government.
Let me quickly ask.
That is not really bad.
I'm sorry. Let me quickly ask. I'm supposed to move from this particular question to the next, but there are questions further generated by the details you just gave. Because
yes.
I'm sorry, some of these things I didn't know the details that went down, and I'm sure that most of the people also watching were not aware. And I deliberately asked, and I'm going to ask from what you just said now. How long have you known Leonard for him to have become chairman of your party? I mean, secretary of your party.
It was
I'm concerned. Before you answer, sorry.
Yeah.
If AAC is supposed to be a new frontier, a new revolutionary party that is going to be an alternative to the APCDP or PDP APC, that is, everybody already know they are always exchanging corridor every time. People are looking for something different. If AAC proves or claims to be a party that is revolutionary, how come you have elements while you were even already coming up from among them who were already members of them becoming secretary of your party? It's a question, innocent question from people like layman like me, who just likes what you're doing, but is worried. How come you have all these details about Ezenwa, but you became, and you're also an investigative journalist and reporter. How come Ezenwa, who has all these details, became secretary of your party? How did it happen?
You asked this question. Can you just calm down so that I can answer? Because you are repeating the same question over. Yes. Don't be agitated. It's
Nigerians are agitated. Yeah.
No, wait. Yeah, no problem. It's just like asking Jesus Christ how he came about Judas.
That one is a spiritual
12 disciples. It's a spiritual matter. It's widely believed,
right? He knew. Did you know Leonard was going to do this?
So you see, if you had paid attention when I was telling the story from the beginning, I told you that when you said we were investigating, how do you think we found out that he doesn't have a PhD?
So I was wondering why it became after. I'm not blaming you here. I'm just wondering.
You're not blaming me, but you just also need to calm yourself down so that you can get this appropriate answers.
That's why I asked.
He could have been he could have even been perfect at the beginning, right? But the fact that he betrayed us or that he did what he did is a character issue. See, when we were all in the student movement, right? He claimed that in his school he also was part of the student movement. I would believe that.
Okay.
Yes. No. Wait. He has written articles before. We used to publish him on Sowore Reporters. Okay. Even I think at some point it's written a couple of articles. But don't forget that I wasn't the only person at the party, and the party was newly founded. It was founded, I think, October 2018. An election was coming up February. I think it was, I don't remember the exact date of the election. I think it was in March. And I was traveling around the world campaigning, including around the country. Had little or no time. And we had other party leadership members who were supposed to be working with him, and all of them kept raising alarm, including trying to figure out why he does what he did, why he was so shady and wouldn't show up at some events, or why we would go out, or why he would be proposing that we should go and collect money, or why at a point he told one of our party members that party leaders that we shouldn't run in that election, that we should just sell our slots to either Atiku or Buhari. So these are so many things that were raising red flags, and it was part of why the decisions I explained to you from the beginning took place, and it took a while. What I'm trying to explain to you is that when it comes to human beings, your brother, your cousin, your sister, your twin can betray you. Because what's at stake? A lot of power, influence, money, and when greed creeps into that, dangerous cocktail. So, but if you have followed my explanation before you asked that question, it was crystal clear
It would not have been
that
necessary.
we flagged.
I get it.
Yeah.